higher. Golden State Warriors and the Dallas Mavericks. The Warriors trying to catch
the Don.
The Denver Nuggets.
The Don's what they call him already.
On top of the Western Conference standings. There's a reason
for that. Or they call him spicy.
But don't forget about Steph Curry. He was cooking.
Well, no, see, come on, Coach. Someone didn't tell him to leave him wide open like that.
Well, he was 5 feet behind the three-point line.
Watch the sauce here. Luka Doncic. Once again, he shows you something. You're like, wait, what?
Okay, the Don with the Don sauce.
You gotta like him.
And then we're used to this now. It's still his rookie season, but we've seen this over and over again. Mavericks take a 7-point lead. Back to Steph Curry had 16 points in the first quarter. Second quarter, still going to work.
DJ, I'm sorry. You're not used to being out there in the deep water. I'm sorry. You look, he's smiling at him.
So we move to the second half, and the Warriors are now ahead by 7. Luka Doncic.
Whoa. I'm impressed. I know he can stop and pop and step back, but now he can go to the rim.
Moving without the ball. That's the key to that.
I love it. Oh, DJ, I'm sorry. You came to the deep water again and had to make a drizzle.
Into the third quarter.
Don't do that.
ISO step back on Kevin Durant.
7-footer, Coach.
Remember that later on. Remember that play right there. Durant guarding Doncic.
How about
Devin
Harris?
He's still, what, 36?
In February, he will be.
Love it.
And Steph Curry rocking the baby to sleep.
Good night.
11 3-pointers for Steph Curry. It's the 12th time in his career he's had 10 or more 3-pointers in a game. 48 points on the night, but he misses there. So one last shot for Dallas, down by 3. Harrison Barnes, the former Warrior.
Who's that same guy?
Go.
That's what I wanted to remind you about, what Doncic did against him and what happens right here.
Yep, moving his feet. Harrison Barnes, not sure he wants to do with the basketball, but that guy right there is something nice.
Now, in case you missed this game or would like to watch the entire game, Monday at 4 o'clock, it's our game of the day. Catch it from start to finish. Golden State Warriors, Dallas Mavericks. What an incredible one that was.
Will we expect the Boogie Cousins back soon?
Soon, Coach.
Within the next week?
He's coming.
He's coming?
He's coming. He looks good. Had a players-only game the other night. And Steve Curry, once again, thank you for allowing me in to watch and see with my own eyes. No cameras yet, but to see him play one-on-one full court, to see how he's interacting with those guys, and people wondering, is it going to be 25 and 15 cuz? That's the last thing they're worried about. They're worried about a healthy, happy cuz to come in and help them get back to the promised land.
Zara, help me understand basketball IQ when it pertains to Luka Doncic. What we saw in this particular game, it seems like everything was on that next level of basketball IQ.
It's because he's a rookie by our standards here in the NBA, but this young man has been playing professional basketball for a number of years. So it's like you're getting a 4-year college senior coming out. It's like Brunson coming out of Villanova after 3 full years in there, where he's got all these games under his belt, all this experience, except Doncic was doing it in Europe against men, pros, getting paid for it. And now he's coming here as a rookie.
Certainly the Golden State Warriors had to bring out their best shot, as in Steph Curry with 11 3-pointers to get that victory. And speaking of your best shot, Joel Embiid going to bring it once, twice, 3 times, whatever it takes to get the win in the Garden. And while the Magic used a fourth quarter powered by their big man, dropped the bearded one in the Sunshine State. And the Greek Freak and Company took care of business against the Hawks. You're watching Game Time. Bradley Beal played 55 minutes to get those 43 points, go along with the 10 rebounds and the 15 assists.
Well, Washington shooting 43% from the three-point line. Good night from the deep area.
Yes, indeed. This could be a marquee matchup right there.
Here's Serge Ibaka after the game.
Yeah. You know, this is NBA, man. You know, I know. And when you relax like we did in the second half, you know, team's gonna come back. You know, because you know we start so early, getting easy bucket, and we kind of relax. You know, but they didn't give up. You know, you have to give them a lot of credit because sometimes, you know, when, you know, teams down like that, they always give up. But, you know, they was keeping fighting, and then that's why we had a close game. Yeah, you know, Kawhi is a tough guy, you know, and he was in great position under the basket and the ball, you know, to grab the rebound. Also because I was spacing, you know, to let him play one-on-one. That's why I had that open threes. I think tonight he played like a superstar. You know, that's how we need him to play. You know, he did his job. That's his job as a superstar. You know, where we need him to step up and make big play like he did tonight.
Wasn't one of the complaints with Washington that they didn't share the basketball, they didn't move the basketball, and suddenly 36 assists in a game tonight for the Wizards. That's a special number.
Yeah, they've been averaging over 30 assists in the game since John Wall has been out. But, I mean, Bradley Beal, a big part of that. This is the second time in the last month we've seen him get 15 assists. I mean, there's one thing for him to have a 40-point triple-double, triple overtime game against the Phoenix Suns. It's another thing for him to do it, 3D, against a team like the Raptors with the Wizards down in the fourth quarter. Are the Wizards restoring your faith that they could actually be a playoff team this year? When you see a game like this, I know there's no moral victories, but to see how they fought against the team with the most wins in the NBA.
If you're a Wizards fan, Chris, to your question, you saw some fight tonight you hadn't seen in a while. And also to Coach's point with the 36 assists, it kind of feeds off with last year's, moniker where it's coach. When every time John Wall wasn't playing, they said more, we all eat more. Well, 36 assists proves that we all eat. So the question is now, Chris, can you bring this fight you showed us tonight all the way up to the All-Star break to your question, kind of believe that maybe we can fight for a spot? And that's the thing for me, Coach, that don't let this be a one-game stand where you get down by 25 points, your local crowd starts booing you first, and then you get back in the ball again, you find some energy, and then you make a game of it in double overtime.
Hasn't it seemed like Washington's had a horrendous season up to this point? But when you look at the standings, they're 2 games out of the 8th spot for the playoffs, which either means the East is really bad, or they've kind of been deceiving, just hanging around long enough to maybe make a move in the second half of the season.
Well, I think to this conversation, Coach, you can say 1 through 5, those teams we kind of believe, they're going to be solid. Maybe before Dragic went down for the Heat, you probably would give them a little more, solid playoff push. But 6 down to 10, it's been fluctuating all season long, to your point. So now John Wall goes down, and then they start playing better basketball. But wait a minute, he's your franchise player. So now, from being up in D.C., a lot of the conversation is, well, wait a minute, John Wall's done for the season. This team is playing better. Now, do we make a move for the trade deadline and maybe shore up our front line and make our rebound a little bit better and maybe hold on to that 8th spot?
Well, who's the move?
That's what I'm saying.
Who would the move be?
I don't know.
Because somebody's got an awful big contract there. I mean, like a really big contract.
I mean, really big.
Yeah, really big.
I believe you're talking about John Wall.
Who? No.
Well,
What?
yeah.
Well, let's focus on the team with the most wins in the NBA right now. The Toronto Raptors, seeing how they were able to, again, we talked about the Wizards fighting. The Raptors could have easily been like, okay, this is a game where they have the energy, they take the win. Raptors continue to lead the league in wins. Their only loss since the start of the new year against the San Antonio Spurs. We know that was an emotional game for them with Kawhi Leonard going back down there. When you look at this Toronto team, do you see them as being the favorites coming out of the East to go to the NBA Finals? Not just winning the regular season, but going to the Finals.
Well, Toronto, along with Milwaukee right now, are the 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference. And let's face it, everybody was expecting Boston to come out and have a sensational beginning of the season, beginning of the regular season. But unfortunately, this is not the same Boston team that finished up at the end of last year. You have 2 guys that came back that weren't there at the end, Kyrie and Hayward, and the chemistry and the same fire isn't there right now that was there at the end of last season during the playoffs, during that great matchup against the Cavaliers. So, the question is why. Sometimes chemistry is hard to attain. It takes time for everybody to fit in and want the same thing.
And with that being said, that's why I would say Toronto yesterday, because of that chemistry. Because everyone wondered when you bring in Kawhi Leonard, how are we going to keep this young man happy? Not playing back-to-back. So I think Nick Nurse, along with Masai Ujiri, is doing all the right things and pulling all the right buttons to keep this chemistry on the right page. So now you look at Siakam, all those Van Vliets of the world, they've all improved over the year. Now that's what makes that bench deeper. C.J. Miles still hadn't shot the ball particularly well. We know how he can stretch the defense. So they're deep enough, Coach, and they still have Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard, who were what? Championship tested.
Yeah, what about Indiana? We need to mention them because Indiana, when they finished up last season, everybody was saying, wow, this team, watch out for them next year. But Oladipo hasn't gotten back yet to that level that he was playing at during the playoffs last year. And a certain guy named Paul George was important to that team last year. So even though They're good. They're solid. I mean, this is a tough out to knock these guys out. Still may not be the same Indiana team that we saw last year.
And you have to also mention the Philadelphia 76ers, who are a team that you see the young talent, you see the possibility for some ascension. They were in action. But we're living in a three-point revolution where some of the greatest shooters of all time are playing right now in this era. In this open court short, we asked some of our favorite resident shooters who they would take in the clutch to make a bucket that they needed for a win.
For Kenny Smith. Throws it across. Miller for three. Oh, he backed it in! He backed it in!
Hey everybody, Matt here with three of the most accomplished shooters in NBA history. 3D, Dennis Scott, Kenny Smith, the Hall of Famer Reggie Miller, and so of course...
This is a shooting show.
No, of course.
I was trying to figure out
I want to talk about shooting. One active player to take a game-winning shot, if you could choose, who is that guy?
Steph Curry. Or Kevin Durant, or LeBron James.
Curry saves it three. Steph Curry goes to the corner to shoot a three and hits to tie it up. Shot clock is on. James pull up for a three. Rainbow!
Any more?
To take a three to win a game.
I take all three of those. Even LeBron James, in terms of his ability to get it off, he'll get it off comfortably because of his size, strength, and ball handling ability. So he would get it off comfortably. He doesn't shoot with the same accuracy as those other two guys, but he gets a better comfort level at times than those two guys.
For me, active, if we're just trying to get a shot clock's going down, it's Kyrie Irving. His ball handling ability to be able to get to any spot on the floor and get his shot off, to your point, he's going to get his shot off. And he's one of the few point guards, well, there's a lot of point guards in the league, and can shoot the three.
Definitely guys that I probably would have picked, but if I'm going with someone with ice water in their veins, need a shot, I'm going with Dame Lillard. A guy that can create his own shot, or you can put him in a high pick and roll, shoots with depth, can shoot deep, and if you foul him, he's going to make foul shots.
Does the answer change for any of you if I say it's a catch and shoot three to win a game?
Klay Thompson.
Yeah. Catch and shoot, I would add Klay to the catch and shoot. Like, it swung back out to him. I would add Klay to that for sure.
You know, it's funny, we were talking, James Harden.
Ooh, yes, to get a bucket, yes.
He could do.
Oh, my goodness, to get a bucket, yeah.
I mean,
Catch the dribble, off the dribble.
Off the dribble, he's great,
no question about it.
He gets to walk and shoot it. So he gets it. He gets to do the running man.
I'll make it harder. Let's go back in history. Any player who's ever played to win a game with a three.
Oh, we're sitting right here.
Oh,
Who are you picking?
No, there's
He's
a lot
right
of
here.
guys.
No, I'm not. You could go last if you're not going to talk about yourself.
I'm gonna go with Larry Legend.
No.
To make a
three.
three. He said to make a three, right?
To make a three.
To make a three at the end of the game.
Celtics have got 3 seconds. 2. Bird, a runner. It's good!
I'm going with Larry Legend.
I'm going with the guy sitting here only because the moment for Larry is always the moment. For Reggie, he creates more moments, meaning he's looking for an opportunity. I think at times you hope we get down 3. You know, so there's a difference. But Larry's like, no, I'm not even going to let you get up. I'm going to beat you. He's waiting for that moment. And so for me, watching Reggie over the years, I would have to say Reggie would be the guy I would be. Like,
Good looking, Kenny.
No, but and taking it a step further, with Larry, as much as we, love his shooting, he's not going to get open in that situation. Where you, and I'm going to throw Ray Allen into the mix, both of you guys are going to get open because you're probably the best running without the basketball, running off screens and getting open. Now,
I'm going to put Larry second, though. I wasn't like,
Kenny, Larry's third. Ray Allen's above him. Well, come on now. Those
But
Ray
you know
Allen
what?
and Reggie Miller, we need a three. Larry's not getting open. Him and Ray are getting open to get that three off.
Rebound, Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang!
There's a guy that I would want to be in this mix because he's the leading three-point shooter in the history of playoffs over certain attempts. You know who that guy is, right?
Kenny the Jet Smith.
You know.
I was waiting for that.
You're looking at
That leads to my next question. You may have already answered it, but if in a theoretical world where I could play and I had to choose one of the three of you to win a game with a three, Where am I going?
We're all going to pick ourselves. That's how confident I mean, in all of our careers that we've all hit game winners, we've all hit buzzer beaters, so we know we can do it. So if you're asking openly, I want to, as much as I love both these guys, I want to take that shot first.
I would honestly say that these guys were better three-point shooters in this regard. That was such a big part of their diet. And for me, it became a part of my diet later on. But I had to learn to be that. It is, like Reggie Miller, we played at UCLA in Pauley Pavilion and in North Carolina. We were like, guard him from here.
Right.
That didn't come into my life until about my fourth year in the NBA. It was always part of Dennis Scott's repertoire, a steady part of that diet, the long ball shot. I was catching up with you all the time.
Right.
Now, I just still think I could shoot the ball. But I just know that you guys it was a better diet.
We all have different strengths at different times, but at the end of a game, to a man, we're all going to say, put the ball in our hands. Kenny wants those shots.
Yeah, one of the
He
biggest
wants those shots.
one of the
I always
biggest
wanted those
moments.
shots.
Yeah.
We were actually in the biggest moments in Rocket and Orlando basketball history. Hit a three-pointer to tie the game to send it to overtime in the NBA Finals.
He's been on fire and hits. He's tied the game.
But before that, this dude,
In the regulation,
he comes
right.
back and hits another one.
Back to Scott for three, and he's tied the game.
Back to back.
Yep.
It was him and I.
You haven't made my job any easier.
Well, hey, how about this? Who are you going to pick? If your life depended on it, and your family's life depended on it, and they needed a three to get them out. Come on, man.
I will answer the question. I've got bad news for you and my family. I turned it over before I ever got it. You lost the game.
I will tell you this: if you do
I'm
it
sitting here and not there.
if you gave it to any of us, your family lives.
Don't do us like that,
turn
man.
the
Juan.
ball over,
As
Matt.
hosts, we're okay too. Okay, Czar, we've already heard from 3D, so we're going to leave him out of this one. Out of all the guys you've coached, who would you want with the ball in their hands take a three-point shot at the end of the game?
Probably my three best three-point shooters from the teams that I coach in the league. Mike Miller has to be one of them with incredible range. Mark Price.
Oh, yes,
Mark Price,
baby. Yes,
co-sign.
Marky, baby.
Remember Wesley Person?
Ooh.
Wesley Person, yeah, not a bad three-point shooter. Now,
Yes.
if you said today, how about this? If I asked you who's leading the NBA right now today in three-point shooting, what would you say? Curry?
Curry or
You'd be
James
right,
Harden.
except it's not the Curry we think. It's Seth Curry,
Seth.
his brother, who's leading the NBA. Okay, I'm gonna take,
that.
but I'm
I
gonna
like
take,
it.
I'm gonna take Steph. If I had to have a shot, a three, Steph right now.
Oh, so we got to give props to Del Curry, too, for those genes. Remember, he was a great shooter
come
as
on,
well.
Man, no question about it.
Good points, Czar. Hey, we will continue to keep this thing rolling on Game Time Live as we get you ready for another game.